Hi, so my name is Sam Godeau. I'm from Belgium, and I'm actually a second year student at University Dilijan. And today it's my great pleasure to welcome you, Elisabet Engellau, for this discussion. So if I understood correctly, you have been on board since even before the creation of the school, 2010, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Um, and I'm so grateful to have that occasion to talk to you. Um, yes, UWC has the mission of make education a force to unite people, cultures, nation for peace and sustainability. And this year we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the creation of the school. So thank you so much, and I'm going to let you present yourself.
Well, as you were saying, I'm Elisabet Engellau. I am, since 2010, engaged in this wonderful school and this project. I live in France. I am linked to another international institution called INSEAD, where I'm an adjunct professor since about 20 years, and where I teach a top executive uh, leadership course, which is over a year long with 4 modules. And I do that, I have done it with my husband, Manfred Ketz who is also linked to the Diligence School since a number of years. He's an honorary member of the board, but he's not active. And we have done this program, he for 34 years, me for 14 years. And I'm starting off on Monday morning because Manfred has says, goodbye, thank you, I've done my thing. Now it's me and my son-in-law, who is also a professor at INSEAD. So the two of us will start off a new course with 21 top executives from all over the world. So very similar experience to Diligent, very international. And what else? I have 3 children, all grown-ups. I have 9 grandchildren, of which 3 of them have been to the summer school in Diligent, so they also know the school and loved it.
Very interesting and very inspiring life story. My first question seems obvious, but how did you discover this UWC movement, and what makes you want to join it and participating with like fully participating in the creation of UWC Diligent?
Well, the reason that I have been very early on engaged in this is because my connection to the founders, Ruben and Veronica. It started out with Ruben and his company in Moscow, his investment bank, were clients of Manfred and myself. We became good friends, and here I am. They were very kind enough to ask me if I would like to engage at an early stage, which I loved. And as you know, then, before it even came off the ground, I was there with, there are a couple of board members still around that we started together. And of course, with Veronica and Ruben. And this project was a dream of the two of them, and it was a question to make it happen.
Of course, of course. And what made you really want to join it? What did you find beautiful in that
Well, I mean,
UWC mission?
the fantasy at the time, which has been realized, is to create an educational institution where young people meet from all over the world and get a good education to set them up to be impactful in the world. And that, I think, is the aspirations the founders have, and I think it has been realized to a large extent, and which they should be very proud of, and which I'm very proud of being part of.
Yes, of course. For myself, it's what tempted me to join the UWC movement. I remember I heard about it when I was 12 years old from one of my friends who did it. We went to Costa Rica, and I was like, I just kept it in my mind. I was like, that's what I want to do. And then when the time had come, that's me to do the selection, I
Yes.
gave all my heart for it, and here I am. And it's so inspiring, and you become so open-minded to be around so many cultures and people that are different from you. I wouldn't say that it's all the time easy, but it's you get so much maturity, and it's a pleasure to be here.
You know, in the end, it's wonderful, all these different cultures, religions come together in this community. And my experience, having worked with people from all over the world, we're all human beings.
Exactly. I think putting together students from all walks of life just breaks the fictional barrier that we have together. And that's only an example, but I've shared my room with students from Russia, China, Czech Republic, France, Armenia, Venezuela, and you just, yeah, you get this experience of living every day with someone that a complete different culture from you, and it's just amazing. And now that I've been put in that international life, I just don't want to get out of it. So no, it's amazing. I just we talked about the goals of UWC, and that was one of my questions. So now it has been 10 years that the school is established in Dilijan. Do you think that UWC Dilijan or the UWC movement in general has accomplished its goal and just try to continue what they've been doing, or do you as a board member or have a lot of goals still to accomplish, and yeah, a lot of plans to make the school develop and evolve?
You know, this is a journey we're on. And there was a lot of discussion in the beginning before what educational system should we accept for the school. We ended up taking the IB because it was an international recognized degree for students. What community should we join or not join? Should we be independent? And we found that the culture of United World Colleges fit very nicely to the ambitions and the philosophical views of the founders and the board at the time. And we chose that would be of the organization or the movement that we would join. I think there has been a lot accomplished. There are a number of schools around the world successfully working within the context of United World Colleges. And I think people are proud to be part of this movement, if you want. But I think it's not something, yes, we've accomplished, and that's it. It's a movement, meaning it moves forward. And it's very important to be part of initiating the forward thinking in this community, as well as in the IB movement, because that's also something which, set up educational system, but life and the world moves on. And so the educational system has been adopting to be appropriate to today's world and to the future. And so it's a movement.
Of course, I fully agree. And if I may ask, do you have like one idea that you would want to realize, or that the UWC movement would go? Do you have one goal in particular that you are working for, or that you're just hoping that once it will be accomplished?
Well, since I am not involved in the education of your age group, I'm involved in these grown-up people who come back and want some more. And so I can only say that in general, I think it would be very helpful that colleagues of mine and the faculty at the school are active in looking what next in their field of expertise to improve the education and make it useful for today's students. So that I think is very important. I think living up to the aspirations and the goals set by United World College goes beyond just the educational system, and also means it's a philosophy that involves how do you develop as a person. It's not only what you learn in the classroom, but also meeting up around the clock, basically, on campus, and how that develops you and your personality and your interests outside of the academic. I also think the location of the school was very carefully chosen. And of course, being Armenian, Ruben had a very strong ambition to, by putting this educational institution in the country of his origin, helping the country to also blossom. And the interaction between Armenia as a country and the people in Armenia and the school, I think, is a very important aspect as well.
I have a lot of questions that comes through my mind while listening to you. But first, I would want to ask you exactly what your role is, because we know you're working a lot. I have no doubts about it with your team. But you're working back at the stage. We don't see you often at the school. So I would want to understand exactly what you consider your role is as a board member and what you are aiming for. What's your...
Well, my role, I wish I was more often at the school. I haven't been for a
welcome.
while, and I hope to be able to come. I already know that I most likely won't be able to come for the week in March, which is already planned since a long time. But I know we have graduation coming up, and we have the 10-year celebration. So I will try to fit something into my life and look forward to come, because every time I come, I feel very welcome. I feel very connected to faculty, students, support staff. It's a wonderful environment to come and stay with.
It is. I'm sure you're welcome, and we hope to see you at our graduation. So if I can ask again, if you could describe in few words what your responsibility as a board member is.
As a board member,
Yes.
It's my responsibility is I am not only I'm in the nominations and governance committee. I sit on the educational committee, and I think somehow I'm also in the safeguarding committee. So a little bit of everywhere. And my my responsibilities first as a board member is to make sure that the school is functioning at the level we set, uh, which means that there is a strategy that needs to be formulated. There is a responsibility for financial survival of the school, that the financial situation is healthy and is also making it possible to move forward on aspirational goals that the headmaster will have or the faculty will have and the board has. And uh, I think the collaboration with the leadership team at the school, which of course, first of all, is the new headmaster now coming in, is key. It's very important that we have close contact and that we can support actively that leadership team in the school and deal with any complexities that is not able to be dealt with only by the top leadership team.
Thank you again. I would want to thank you again by your work, allowing us to live this amazing experience, life experience. We said that you just said it, that sometimes problems can't be dealt inside the school. Do you have in mind, because you have been there even 4 years before the creation of the school, during these 14 years now, do you have in mind what was the biggest challenge to overcome for the creation of University Dilijan or in the establishment of the school in Dilijan or in general?
Well, there have over the years been different challenges, but I think one challenge which I have always felt uh, concerned about is that the community at the school functions well, meaning that the experience that both students, faculty, and staff have is a sense of meaningfulness and that there is good learning. And there has been maybe some challenges on more what I would say the human side, being the age group that you all are students. It's a group, it's an age where you try to find yourself, develop who are you, what is it I want to do in life, trying to manage, and there has been coming up the identity discussions and stuff like that. And so that I think is cannot be set in rules of what has to be taught in math and physics and geography and so on. That is something that the community of adults and young students need to support each other and help that development, because that is as an important part of your experience there as learning intellectually stuff.
I would fully agree because I think what makes UWC unique is not the IB, because the IB you can find in other international schools. It's all what around is, and of course it's more challenging to be able to deal with the IB, which is very demanding, and with everything around that you need to deal with. But of course, you said it. You said it's the few years where we really discover ourselves, and the Sam that arrived 1 year and a half back in time now is completely different. And I think I'm way more mature than when I arrived and discover myself, of course, and what I want to become and what I want to be later. And so, yeah, it's an experience, an
It
amazing
is.
experience.
It's a few years in life, and unfortunately, I would say my experience is it doesn't stop when you graduate. It's something that continues on for a number of years, but who am I? What is my purpose in life? How should I manage my life? And those questions are have to be dealt with, have to be helped and supported by the adults in the community who have to be present, not only in the classroom. And that I think is very important. And that is what I'm talking about when I talk about the community that has to be there, the culture of that.
Talking about community, I think that as UWC students, we have a responsibility to be involved in the community inside the UWC diligent community, or if you're
Yes.
studying in diligent, but also outside.
Yes.
What do you think our role is as UWC student as of being involved with the community, for example, the diligent community? What's our role is to be involved locally, if we start by talking locally?
You know, the school, you can say it's a community in itself, but at the same time, you are in a larger community that you need to be connected to in one way or the other. And I think projects that students over the years have created together with the different diligent communities, or even gone even further now with the Samsung uh, project. I think, and younger children have been able to also come into the local school that we have created. It's very important that the connection is there, and it's such a benefit for you not only to learn about the different cultures that you meet inside this community, but to learn about a culture and people who have been there for thousands of years and who have a long and very strong cultural background and history. So it's an opportunity again to learn and to connect.
It is. It's a real pleasure to learn about this amazing culture that is the Armenian culture. And yes, you said it, we have the immense chance to be around people from all over the world, but as well deeply involved with the Armenian community and discover this amazing country that is Armenia.
And I think that there are then possibilities to, through active projects that you have to create, and you do it focusing on the community around you, and sort of getting outside of campus and working together with people out in the community in Dilijan and maybe further around in
I
Armenia.
would I would like to finish with a question that is close to my heart. You probably know the situation in Armenia, especially in the Artsakh region.
Yeah.
What do you think, as an international school in Armenia, is our responsibility to do as University Diligent College to help um, to share the what's happening in Artsakh through our communities back home? Because it's I which is very sad, but we don't hear it a lot back home. I don't know if in Sweden or France they talk a lot about it. In Belgium, for my case, my parents sent it maybe once on TV and some protests in the streets of Brussels, but not more. Where it's a horrible topic and for the human rights and way more. So, what do you think as University Diligent College is our responsibility to do towards the Armenians from Artsakh and for the Armenian country?
Being placed in Armenia, and this is an Armenian population that have been suffering and have been pushed out of their country, basically. They are now trying to rebuild their lives within Armenia. And of course, I think the school has a responsibility to be, in one way or the other, involved in that. And that is up to the school and the school leadership to decide how. But I think it's absolutely clear that these people who have now lost everything and are starting anew, how can the school, in one way or the other, be supportive or helpful? I think that's absolutely. Unfortunately, the Artsakh tragedy has lost front page actuality in the world because of other tragedies that are now taking place in Israel and Gaza and Ukraine. We are in an unstable world. We don't know where this will all take us. And of course, you have students, friends at the school who must be touched very closely by all of this. And they have families in these countries, and how to deal with that, and how to also be able to still respect and care for each other, even though maybe you come from Gaza or you come from Israel, but that you can see, again, we are human beings and we need to care for each other. And it's not taking place very well today.
I think it's a perfect sentence to finish off. So I would like Ms. Andro to thank you again for this precious time. I think it will benefit all of us, and I wish you all the best for the future. And
I wish you all the best, and I hope to meet in person in the spring.
that would be my pleasure. That would be my pleasure. Thank you again.
Very much.
See you soon then.